We start summer 2022 with a bang here in Austin, Texas. A glorious first stop on the 2022 season on the AVP Tour. We have had so much fun over the last 3 days, but it comes down to one final match. There's a look at the state capitol here in Austin, Texas, the largest in the country, but everyone is fully focused into one location right now in Austin, Texas, and that is at Krieg Field, because that is where we will crown our next champion, men's champion. Who will it be? Troy Field, Chase Budinger? Or will it be Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser? Wilson Sporting Goods, always a big part of our coverage and our team here on the AVP Tour. Hi, everyone. I'm Cameron Irwin, alongside our resident professional, Kyle Friend, pro volleyball player. And Kyle, I got to ask you right off the bat, Andy Benesh, Phil Dalhausser, 6'9", 2 blockers playing together. What do you think?
Man, it's been so fun to watch them play, Cam. Irwin, thank you for that lovely introduction. And these blockers are doing more than just blocking. They're digging balls. They're up there in the dig category for this event, which is wild.
Without a doubt, you're going to see some down defense. On the other side, Troy Field making his second final ever alongside Chase Budinger, a new partnership.
New partnership, finding out the rhythm, finding the feeling, but they're playing some of the best volleyball to date.
Without a doubt, they have come into Austin showing guns a-blazing. It's been so impressive to watch Troy Field from the service line and right behind the block of Chase Budinger. Everyone focused in on this matchup. It is the men's final of the Austin Open. Sherman.
One more match to go, baby. Austin, from start to finish, it has been way up here at the highest level, and it only gets higher in the finals. Can you handle that, Austin? Oh my goodness, yes it does. Now, we got some big boys here in the men's final. And I think the first guy I'm introducing is actually the smallest guy. But you know what? He makes up for it. Look at those legs. I mean, how does he do it? The highest jumper on this court of insane athletes. You know him, you love him. Looking for his first AVP win, it's Troy Field. And talk about a high flyer. From his days in the NBA when he jumped over P. Diddy in the slam dunk competition. An incredible basketball player, and now he is here for his career on the sand, and he has continued to up his game over the last few years, playing out of his mind right now. It's Chase Budinger. Now, these two guys, you know what? If they didn't jump that high, it'd probably be okay, because they're starting at a different level, but they're still getting way up there. But what impresses me most about this first young player is he is not shying away from the moment. He is not hitting little line shots and cut shots when it matters. He is crushing balls, and he is telling the veterans that I am here. It's Andy Benesh. And his partner. Well, he told us he was here a long time ago. Actually, he didn't really arrive until Todd said that he arrived. When Todd gave him that, yeah. But you know what? Since he has arrived, he has been the most feared player in the world. He gets the call from Andy, gets up off the couch, and says, sure, I'll come play with some guy I just heard his name for the first time. Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Phil Dalhausser.
So many storylines going into this one. The one everyone's talking about, 13 and a half feet tall. That's the combined height of both Phil Dalhausser and Andy Benesh on the sand, 2 blockers. And if you're wondering if it's the tallest team to ever play on the AVP Tour, You're probably thinking, yeah, of course. Well, guess what? It's not. That belongs to Ryan Doherty and Casey Patterson. They had him by 2 inches, 7'1" and 6'6" combined. But how about this? Andy Benesh in his first final and just his second final appearance for Troy Field on the other side of the net. It's the number 4 seed versus the number 2. Men's final starts now. We start on Phil Dalhausser.
Let's get it. Come on, let's get it.
And Phil already with the dig. Troy Field playing down defense for the first time. Block out.
Huge rundown there from Troy Field to start this match off, and then staying aggressive on that trouble set and somehow getting that to go off the block. Impressive from the pink hat himself, Troy Field.
And Troy Field with an ace. That is what he has done all weekend long. He has led the field in terms of service aces, making that his 11th on the weekend. And Troy Field gets the slap shot back over.
What a touch there from Field with the left hand. Look at, here's he stays low defensively and sticks out a paddle. Look what he finds, but unfortunately overpass, and Benesh cleans it up.
If you are a lover of volleyball, there's only one thing you're going to be doing this entire time, and that is smiling at the play you're about to see. Some of the highest flyers and some tall defenders on the field. And some swings like that. Chase Budinger letting everyone know he came to play.
See Bud there taking a rip down the line. Impressive swing from Budinger.
In case you're wondering, yes, that is Steve Bud, who used to be the former NBA star. He's been playing on the AVP tour for a few years now, taking some big-time victories back in 2021, just a year ago. He picked up 2 titles of the 3 tournaments on the tour, winning Atlanta alongside Casey Patterson and also Chicago.
That is out of bounds.
All right, Kyle, already I can see the height of this set is pretty noticeable on the side of Chase and Troy.
Yeah, did you hear the normal call there from Troy? I mean, he just wants his normal set, and his normal set right now is this high ball. The one thing Troy's got to be careful of with this win, you saw that ball drift off the net just a touch, and so that's why he hit that thing long.
And when you jump that high, you got to make sure you toss that ball up in the air. And that brings us to our first ice switch. They switch every 7 points. And it is something to note as the conditions here have been somewhat windy, about 18 miles an hour as of yesterday, 14 to 15 today. You can see the flags on screen. But the most notable weather element, well, that is the heat and humidity here in Austin, Texas. We have been hitting that 100 mark for the last 3 days, and it has taken a toll on some of these athletes. So right now, conditioning is at a premium. Out of system becomes in system.
Good swing there from Troy Field as he's bobbing his way back to the service line. But this is a very difficult ball to hit super high, a touch early, but good ball to hand contact. And that's just showing the growth of Field.
Well, and you talk about the growth of Field, and the reason you remark on it is because traditionally we've seen Troy in a blocking role since his time on the AVP tour. Now playing full submit defense, playing in the backcourt, so a big adjustment for him in the offseason. Big swing, Troy Field.
Quite the swing from the new defender, Troy Field. Like you said, a couple years blocking and now transitioning into defense. and he's only going to get better and better defensively. We already know he's an elite attacker.
And a quick snap for Andy Benesh. The ball is inbounds for the former USC Trojan. He was a middle blocker. So you bring him out on the stand and he goes, number one focus, I have to pass.
And that's the one thing middles don't do a ton when you're playing indoor volleyball. You're just up there blocking and hitting, but passing, getting better for Benesh. But the one thing I love to see from Benesh is his hand setting. I think as a middle blocker, difficult to get these hands transitioning into the beach, and Benesh has just tasty mitts.
Angle.
Speaking of great set, one of the other great setters on the stand, Budinger, it was one of the skills when he came out to the stand, people remarked on right away, saying, this guy hasn't played volleyball in years, and yet look at his touch.
So true. You ask anyone on tour, and they know Chase Budinger has some of the best hands out there.
Phil's going to get a look, and a quick snap. These two working a split blocking system between Phil and Andy Benesh. And if you're wondering how these two got together, well, Andy Benesh was actually signed up to play alongside Nick Lucena and will be for the rest of the season. Well, I guess we'll see how this goes. But Nick out with an injury on the weekend. So what happens? Well, Andy ends up giving call to Phil Dalhausser. So we have two blockers on the field.
What a play. We switch sides 7-7. The men's finals, Troy Field looking for his first ever AVP.
Little bit of confusion underneath the net there as we see this tight ball. Chase Butter rising and a little knee to knee action. A little unintentional, but the ball down on the sand first. So no harm, no foul. Glad everyone is okay there.
Yeah, making sure Andy Benesh is okay. Actually, in talking with Andy, last year he struggled with a little bit of an ankle injury leading into the season. He had to tape it for the majority of the season. Felt good, but he also remarked on how healthy he has felt coming into this season. He said he got invited into the USA gym and he has put on 15 pounds of muscle, so more physical than he has ever been.
And you're seeing it on his body, his physique, a bit more built. And then the swinging from Benesh all weekend long, he's bringing more and more heat. And that's good work by him in the offseason.
Andy Benesh with a dig. The long platform of Phil Dalhausser still makes contact.
Just over the top of the block goes Troy Field there. This run down full layout by the big man. And then Field here. Nice pass, good bump set from C. Bud. And then just over the top, that ball drops nobody home.
Big gust of wind now. Still well picked up from Troy Field, knowing he can chase the ball. Lefty slap. Who's at the net now?
Just out of bounds long. The lead will stay with Andy.
In talking to Andy Benesh before these two hit the sand this week, I said, well, how do you expect teams to play you? He goes, well, I don't think they're really going to be taking many swings at us. People probably trying to shoot around them. But in reality, there's also this stigma in your head of like, well, maybe I do have to shoot the ball around. What can I actually do? And some people might have said, wow, it's remarkable they've made it to this point. But at the same time, you still have the GOAT on your side.
Line.
Oh, that guy jumped high. Took a lot of space.
Having the GOAT on your side just instills confidence in you. And then, like you said, more shooting means more opportunities for digs. And that's why you're seeing Phil and Andy collect a handful of digs this event, up there in the top rankings here for digs.
How about that touch? And it stays in bounds. Troy Field on the defense. 6'9", again, paying dividends for the four-time Olympian, Phil Dalhausser.
This dig here from Troy, just laying out that left arm. But like you said, the 4-time Olympian, Phil, seeing that line and fires one into the corner.
Great swing from Troy Field, the 28-year-old. Has been on the tour for about 6 seasons now. Playing alongside Chase Budinger, 33 years old. In his second professional sport, why not?
Bill Dalhausser leaving a little too much line there, and Chase Budinger destroying that Wilson volleyball.
11-10 brings us to the technical timeout. Who finish out at number 1?
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas, the first stop on the 2022 AVP Tour. This is the men's final. It is the number 2 team versus the number 4 team seated here in Austin, Texas. Some big time blockers and some high flyers down on the sand in this men's final. And we've already seen some big time swings from these 4 individuals. You just saw Mr. Troy Field there in his second AVP final. Let's take a look at our White Claw pure spike of the day. Straight through the upright from Troy Field. Again, that's the White Claw's pure spike of the day.
That boy can jump, that's for sure.
Watch. Come on.
Lefty swing. Bill Dalhausser can do it all. Nice touch and Kate from Kate. You knew he had to unload on it. Okay, says Phil, I've had enough. French fries on the board.
Unreal running full layout from Troy Field, and even better hustle from his partner Chase Budinger. But as most points end, they end with Phil Dalhausser bringing out the hammer.
I think Nick Lucena has the hammer award somewhere. We're probably tuning in right now.
Shout out to Nick Lucena, watching his partner go to work.
And I like that swing from Chase, trying to stay just outside the body and defense of Andy Benesh. Quicker set. And we have seen Andy Benesh do a lot of this, which is chiseling off the top of blocks. Bill's been putting him pretty tight to the net throughout the tournament, and he's just letting him tee off.
And sometimes you can err tight with your setting if you have a partner who as big as Andy or as big as Phil. Depending on who you're playing, sometimes it's okay to err tight because you trust your big partner to go up there and do what he does best.
And a nice controlled pass from Chase Bud as that ball blows tight. Phil's got a good touch on it. And the wind adding some extra pace to that last swing from Troy Field. He's all smiling.
Troy Field taking the elevator to the top floor on that swing. And you better believe Clark Kent over there got full smile on his face.
There's some heckling out in the stands. That's one of the best parts, the atmosphere of the AVP Tour, something that we are so grateful to have back after a few years with limited tournaments. And all of a sudden, we're back in 2022, 16 tour stops. So if they're coming to a city near you, let me tell you, you want to be in those stands, living and breathing the most epic volleyball in the country. Okay, Troy Field.
And every time Troy Field goes up to swing, it's oohs and ahs from the crowd because the kid's got boosties. He's only 6'4", but he probably touches around 12 feet. Freak of nature, Troy Field.
Watch those fingers. You may want to tape them up. Phil Dalhausser taking some swings, and we are knotted up at 14 apiece. Time to drink some of that Waikea water on the side switch. Over 100 degrees in Austin, Texas. You can't drink enough of it. So 14 all in set number 1 in our men's final here in Austin, Texas. The first stop on the 2022 AVP Tour. Who's going to be the team to beat? Is it Phil Dalhausser and Andy Benesh, or will it be Troy Field and Chase Budinger? Troy and Chase been spending some time on the international tour. Had some struggles there, looking to build some confidence here on the AVP Tour. And so far this weekend, they have done just that.
Turn that one back.
What an arm angle, Kyle.
On the run, outside of his body, Troy Field here. First of all, good cover. And then look at this swing all the way around. He doesn't want to use the left there because he can bring the right and just dislocates it out of socket to score that point.
And I love it. You look around the stands here right now, and everybody's making that same motion with their arm going, how does his shoulder do that?
Shoulder's not meant to do those things, but Troy Field not meant to jump 40 inches either. But here he is at the finals, the second finals, looking to get that elusive AVP title.
Up platform. Jace loving that set.
Straight bump juice from Troy Field there to Chase Budinger.
Phil doing Phil things.
Optioning as he does so well, usually on the left-hand side when he's playing with his former partner Nick Lucena, optioning from the left. This time on the right, showing the versatility, the GOAT, Phil Dalhausser.
Andy Benesh with a tough serve. And wow, a beautiful contact with Chase Budinger. But you mentioned Phil being on the right side alongside Andy Benesh. I asked Andy, I said, well, how did you guys decide? He goes, I don't know. I just called Phil and said, where do you want me? And he also said he expects to see 90% of the side out games. So that's why he ended up on the left, give himself a little bit more comfortability as he knew he'd be seeing the ball.
Right.
Oh, hot pocket. Phil Dalhausser coming to play.
That swing fresh out of the microwave, that hot pocket. It's hot. Don't touch it yet because it's going to burn your mouth.
can see the efficiencies down in the lower right-hand corner, 500 and 520. These teams are high flying.
Oh my!
Wow, another big swing from Troy Field, rocking that pink hat. And actually, this is its debut here in Austin. The new logo of Troy Field on the hat.
Dalhausser. Trading massive hits.
Oh my, there, that big swing.
Well, it's interesting as you take a look at the stat sheet. It's 18-17 for these two teams, and the one stat that everyone was maybe expecting to see that has yet to, 0 blocks on either side of the net.
These hitters doing a great job avoiding these big blocks here. And there's an ace from Chase Budinger. Huge ace.
Well, and that's an interesting tactic right there, as Budinger and Field now have a 2-point advantage, forcing a timeout by Benesh and Dalhausser. A lot of teams have been going just solely at Andy Benesh, but with a new partnership, one of the coined phrases is, you got to go up the middle, right?
You're looking for that hubby wife, little miscommunication, and see who's going to take that ball. And going up the middle is a great place to start to get a new relationship. As you see here from Phil and Andy, maybe the Ents, Lord of the Rings reference here. Give me a new team name.
Also fun to note, like I mentioned, Troy Field in just his second final on the AVP Tour. His first came back in 2019 in New York City, but it's also important to note the other guy, Andy Benesh, well, this is his first final ever, which means without a doubt, we will have a first-time title winner here in Austin. Will it be Andy Benesh or will it be Troy Field? And as for the guy playing next to him, well, Phil Dalhausser. He's got about 59 titles on the AVP Tour, over 100 career wins. But I think this one will be one he deeply cherishes if they can get it done.
A new winner, showing that more and more athletes breaking into the field and growing and getting better. As you see Field and Benesh, two of the younger ones on tour, starting to make their imprint here on the AVP Tour.
I remember back in 2018, second time Troy Field had qualified in was actually right here in Austin, Texas. He had a deep run with David Vandermeer. And I remember from that season on, everyone was wondering, wow, can this kid really touch the bottom of the pier in Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach?
The answer is
Walk
yes.
back, Andy Benesh.
A little too tight. Budinger there going with the left, but Andy Benesh all over that.
Just a 1-point game, 18-19. Benesh and Dalhausser on the good side. Block, Phil Dalhausser. He's the first to put it on the board.
Oh, don't you dare.
19 all.
Come on.
That was the first cut shot we've seen from Troy Field in this match. And Phil hanging and swatting that back.
Another cut, and it is wide. A 3-point swing, and Benesh and Dalhausser now with the advantage and set number 1 in the wake.
To take the lead.
Just wide there for Troy Field. So much real estate on that right side. Doesn't need to be so precise, but the block of Phil Dalhausser forcing that ball higher and wider than he wants to go.
20-19, and both of these teams coming from the winner's side of the bracket. That's an important nugget to note, because with the Heat here in Austin, Texas, they have played the fewest matches to then get to the final. As you now see, yes, the 2022 season, we're just getting started here on the AVP Tour. Next up is New Orleans, and I can tell you that is going to be one you're not going to want to miss. Some of the other ones that stick out to me, you're not going to want to miss those Gold Series events as well. Atlanta, well, conditions probably going to be a little something like this, not to mention the granddaddy of them all, the Manhattan Beach Open, also part of the Gold Series. And it really comes down to Phoenix, the championship, 6 teams based on their finishes. 6 teams on the women's, 6 teams on the men's will be competing in the Phoenix Championship on the AVP Tour. I cannot wait to witness that one. We've got a long season ahead, and man, are we grateful for it.
More volleyball, please. We want it all. We want it all over the nation, and we get it. And then Phoenix, what a nice little wrinkle they've added to the AVP this year, adding these championships. Only 6 teams, making it the highest stakes around.
Still errorless is Benesh and Dalhausser. And blocked. Set 1. The Benesh and Dalhausser. We were waiting on blocks, and Phil Dalhausser showed up big time. 2 blocks in set number 1.
Right when they needed it most.
Yeah, to close out set number 1, of course, it's got to be a block from the GOAT. Here is your Monster Hydro monster block of the day. Another big time touch. Just look at the level in which they're playing above the height of the net. 2 blocks and 2 more control blocks for Phil Dalhausser. Benesh adds 1 himself. So the number 2 seed, 2 dedicated blockers, split blocking at number 1.
It's the choices we make that define us.
Tryon Trevor is coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss.
And ultimately, the enemy is within. Some people want it, some wish for it, but others make it happen.
Tryon Trevor is super lethal, bringing fire and passion to the court.
How will you take charge?
We all know it's a good idea to recycle. But what happens to that aluminum can or all that paper after you put it in the recycling bin? Where does it go? What does it become in its second life? See how WM is always working for a sustainable tomorrow at WM.com/stories.
The home to great live music. Here is Austin, Texas, and it's also the home to the first stop on the 2022 AVP Tour. We love the fans here in this amazing city, and they love this great volleyball. This is the men's final. Chase Budinger, Troy Field versus Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser. Those are your set 1 stats because we're about to get set number 2 underway. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle Friend. What are you seeing here, Kyle?
I'm seeing the blocks here, Cam, from Dalhausser and Benesh. Field and Budinger have been swinging away, scoring a bunch, but late in that first set, blocking of Phil and Andy, propelling them into that first victory.
Gotta love the comeback you saw from Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser as they trailed by about 3 to close out set number 1. They did finish on the good side. That's important to note as you see our flags here on Stadium Court. Trees also blowing in, providing just the amount of shade you need to enjoy it here in Austin, Texas. Nice chase. Troy being a good partner, helping him up after that missed contact.
Good chase down by Chase there is right. And Field walking around rocking those new slunks. That's the Troy Field special slunk swimwear. Got 3 of the 4 athletes on the court rocking the slunks. Love to see it.
Yeah, these athletes have so many great sponsors that help them through the season. You also see the Wilson logo on Troy Field short. Also a great sponsor of the AVP Tour. You can find all these guys on social channels, and trust me, they're a good watch. Phil Dalhausser, 4-time Olympian and gold medalist, showing up here in Austin and causing havoc. Andy Benesh with the long leg. Was it inbound? Phil puts his hands on his hip, palms.
Great rundown, though, from Andy Benesh. Unfortunate error there from Phil Dalhausser, but Benesh in his first finals, like you said, who would have thunk he'd be split blocking?
With Phil Dalhausser. If you're just joining us and wondering how these two came to be, Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser. Andy Benesh is partnered up alongside Nick Lucena for the season. He's out with an injury, and he's making the best of the situation as he's helping coach alongside Florida State while he is repairing himself. How about that touch? Not enough help from the wind.
A lot of heart there from the big blocking squad of Benesh and Dalhausser. And yes, like you said, Andy Benesh can't play with Nick Lucena, so why not grab the GOAT and pick up his old partner, Phil Dalhausser, and bring him out here and make their way to the finals, Cam. Wow.
And by the way, Phil Dalhausser based out of Florida. So these two didn't even really get to train. I talked to Andy this week. Big swing! Phil Dalhausser. They maybe had one practice before actually starting off this tournament.
Here we see this really big swing from Phil from the right. Something new for Phil on that right-hand side. And so some different angles and Phil doing Phil things.
3 apiece.
The touch for the kill. We're to switch sides. 4-3 for Troy Field and Chase Budinger.
Troy Field and Chase Budinger have to feel like set number 1 somewhat slipped through their fingers, as they did have a pretty steady advantage near the end of set number 1 until those last few plays on the bad side of the net.
And that's all that separates the top teams. There is 1 or 2 plays, as you just said, Cam. At the end of the game, who can be most consistent, who can create points for their team. And you saw Phil and Benesh do just that.
We saw a tough serve up the middle in the set number 1. They go back right at Andy Benesh, though. Troy Field, perfect platform. Gotta go. Poked up and over, and Chase is playing defense.
Oh, he sets it on top of the net. Phil on the other side, and Troy tells Chase all day.
Getting a little sandy there is Andy Benesh as he comes back up, covered.
Benesh getting a taste of the Austin sand here firsthand, and this Dalhausser and Budinger meeting at the pinnacle there.
Andy Benesh. You remember back to last season? I don't remember him playing without his shirt on. That's all I'm going to say. He put on 15 pounds of muscle, and he is wearing it proudly here in Austin, Texas. More physical than he was just a year ago. Health at a premium.
Phil waiting for that 1-4-5.
Phil's got his armpits over the height of the net.
And that is trouble for any team when you see big Phil Dalhausser up in the net. This ball in transit just a little too tight, and Budinger doesn't see as he makes the 180. Doesn't see Phil up there, nowhere to go.
Dalhausser.
Self-preservation for Chase Budinger there. Watch out.
Preserving the moneymaker. I'm sure his wife Jess Fine is happy about that.
Just out of bounds long.
Andy Benesh has been working on some new serving techniques. He was telling me how he's kind of switched up his actual arm swing as well as the way he cuffs the ball in the direction he does. Trying to get some more versatility from the back line. Tight ball, and I think that was a close your eyes and swing to the heavens move from Andy Benesh.
Yeah, somehow Benesh getting his hand to the ball and sneaking it through here. Look at this tight set, but just underneath the big block of Chase Budinger.
And a nice touch off the block.
That high up and down set there for Troy Field. It just lets Troy be very athletic and very dynamic and just right over the top of the big block of Benesh. Impressive swing from Troy.
Angle. Oh no!
Well, and to your point, that was a little bit OT. That's Troy Field going up against a 6'9" block. That should speak volumes. Kyle, if you were to say how high could these guys jump? Because a lot of people don't understand. Like, yeah, we talk about their verticals and how high they touch, but what if you put these guys on a hard court, on hardwood floor? What do you think their verticals would be?
Man, I'm pretty sure Troy Field is up near 44 inches with his vertical on an indoor court, and I think he's touching over 12 feet. And same thing with Chase Budinger. You know, he's a bit older, but still he's close to 40, maybe high 30s for C Bud. And there's a reason he was in the dunk contest as an NBA player, because the boys can fly.
I like that you called Chase Budinger old at 34 years old. And there's a big swing. Did it go back? No, that ball still goes the way of Phil Dalhausser.
Maybe I shouldn't say too old, because I'm 33 as well, and Chase Budinger also 33. So maybe prime. Maybe let's just say prime age. How about that?
Prime age. Yeah, there you go. The oldest on the court right now is an ace comes for Andy Benesh, and he's getting the crowd on his side. That would be Phil Dalhausser at 42 years old, over 20 seasons played. There's a look again at that ace, still saying, thank you, partner. One last point, I have to block. Got over 100 career wins. He's got 59 on the AVP tour.
10-7, Phil and Andy.
frustration starting to mount for Troy Field and Chase Budinger, now trailing by 3. And it seems like maybe it's a function of some passing gone awry, Kyle.
Well, you saw in those last 2 serves there from Andy Benesh, first serve ace in the back right corner off Chase Budinger's shoulder. Next serve to the sideline of Troy Field. So usually you might go after the guy who just got ace, but Benesh is mixing it up and keeping both of these players on their toes. And he's causing a little bit of chaos for Field and Budinger right now. So service pressure, like you spoke about, Benesh coming out of the middle now, a little bit more wrap on that ball, and you're seeing it come to fruition. Really impressive.
So service pressure has been some of the story here in set number 2. This is the men's final on the AVP Tour. It's our first stop here in Austin. Yeah, shirts off only here in Austin, Texas, because it is hot and we are having a blast. Grab yourself a water, grab yourself an adult beverage, and let's have some fun. Troy Field back out on the stand, looking for his first title on the tour.
With the win here, Phil and Andy looking to close it out. We're just having a little chat.
Phil Dalhausser having a little bit of a conversation with our officials.
Give it to me fully, though.
And Troy Field is getting a yellow card, and I believe this yellow card is for the fact that he grabbed the ball, punched the ball into the sand before the timeout, and the ball left the venue.
He's got a cannon.
He said, give it. And they come back with an that ball called out of bounds, however. That looks awfully close. John King, our head official, taking a look.
Oh man, John King looks way too confident. I'm pretty sure it's going to be out of bounds. Look at that smug look on the line, Judge.
Here's a look back.
Out of bounds. It is a 10.
Wow, Cam, that's really close.
That's about as close as it gets, but they're going to call that ball long. Left stab. From up and underneath that ball. Nearly zero vision to the defense below him, but he doesn't care.
Big point for Troy's confidence on that dig and turn there, and then cutting this lead to just 1, and Field here back at the service line.
That's a great point you make, talking about confidence, because that's such a rhythm builder here when you get that scoop and deliver. And I also like the conversation. I go back to that yellow card for Troy Field, and he said, no, you give it to me fully. You wear it and hold that high yellow card up, because I want that. Give him a little chip on the shoulder, give him a little bit more of an edge here at set number 2. 1 to the technical timeout.
Yes, Chase.
And a steady side-out swing from Chase Budinger, trailing by just 1.
With the slight edge up 1, set to 9. And
so C. Bud and T. Roy are staying steady in set number 2.
Could find and find our freedom. You and I, the sky, the moon, and the light was just a ride. Oh, oh, oh. Share a little love, share a little love. Learn to respect one another. We could find a way to make another day brighter now that we got each other.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. We have got the wave happening on Stadium Court because this is the men's final, the first of the season. Who will start out 2022 on the right foot with the championship in tow? Mark Sherman's on our stand, keeping things rolling. Here's a look at our contenders. It's Phil Dalhausser and Andy Benesh facing off against Chase Budinger and Troy Field. We are in the midst of set number 2. Hanging out in the technical timeout right now, taking an extra breath as these athletes have been battling in 100+ degree heat for 3 straight days. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle Friend.
And now keep those hands together. Let's get the guys back on the court.
And conditioning coming into play here for these athletes. Like you said, Cam, 3 days in a row. It is so difficult to play that much volleyball. You go out and walk on the sand for 3 days and come back, tell me how you feel. Go out there and play 6 matches all over these 3 days, and then you get back to me and say, because these guys are working it and they're giving it all they can here at the finals, trying to walk home with that AVP Austin trophy.
Well, and it looks like Andy Benesh is taking a play out of Phil's playbook. Both of them stepping back out onto the sand, and they do the slow tread with their feet, shaping the sand, finishing up some of those divots, closing them up. That's a very Phil-esque move by both of them.
They're just cleaning up the divots that they created on that side as they switched. So that, you know, just wait for the divots on the other side of the net.
Well, there's something to be said about pace of play, too. And Phil Dalhausser being one of the best in the game at controlling pace of play. So much respect. No one can ever even say anything back to him. You play at Phil's pace. Push set called. And block back. The goat again with a great blocking alignment.
You hear the push set being called from Troy Field there, which means he wants that set a bit wider than normal, and that's what he gets. The problem is Chase Budinger is just watching that beautiful set and not engaged, ready to cover his partner.
Phil Dalhausser, 13 kills, hitting 480. And they are peppering the right and left sides of Troy Field in the service pressure. Topping that up and chiseling.
Phil just amazes me every time he swings in transition. He just finds the angles, he finds the seam of the block and chizzies off there of Chase Budinger. And that gives them a 4-point lead here in set number 2.
Yeah, Troy, just keep walking, bud. Walk that one off. Let everyone know that was a Troy Field fling. It's like a victory lap.
My goodness, was that spicy.
A lot of crossbody swings from Andy Benesh. Look at our Wilson volleyball. That's the optics they're playing with.
Just out of reach, what a shot.
Swimming mid-air is Andy Benesh as he tries to stay afloat to get a touch on that, but too good off the hand of C-Bud.
Yeah, swimming is right, and Andy just a bit early. He's got to identify that Chase is falling away there. Not gonna be able to hit that true.
Right. Hey. Switch side, 16.
Perfectly dialed in is Phil Dalhausser finding the sideline. 16-12 on the side switch.
Stay together, boys. Stay together.
Love the commentary there. If you heard it at home, stay together. That's going to be critical for these two. New partnership. They have been on a riot here in Austin, Texas, facing some adversity now, trailing by 2 and by a set here in the men's championship.
That was their coach, Tim May, in their box, former AVP player and Long Beach State graduate, reminding these boys to stay together point by point here.
The call started as in, but the flag went to the sky. The ball called out of bounds. So Benesh and Dalhausser again getting closer and closer. Andy Benesh in his first final of his career on the AVP Tour.
13, 17.
This is the time you got to grind and find some points defensively if you're Budinger in field. I don't think I have seen Phil Dalhausser make that type of an emotion after a play in a long time. That was a double fist pump and growl. I love it. He's having way too much fun out here.
It was almost like it was a relief. Yeah, like a excited, but relief. We got that point from Phil, giving them the lead 18-13 here.
There's the push step again, but it's slightly inside. A nice adjustment from Field with his feet.
James looking for something from the service line.
Troy walking around the court, just keeping the legs warm, keeping the body moving as if it isn't warm enough outside.
That's in there, 19-14.
I love that swing, and that's actually something Andy Benesh has been working on. He told me that he's been looking for about a 70% swing, slapping to the sidelines. So that one coming to fruition right there.
And on that 3 block, meaning Chase is going to dive line and Troy's going to run late into the angle, but it's too slow from Troy and it's too fast from Benesh.
C-Bud says, don't you forget I'm here. Monster block it is. Austin loving it.
It's a great touch from Benesh, but it's too tight. And the ball contacting Phil and C-Bud pretty much at the same time.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that was a very, very aggressive net maneuver there from about 25 feet off the net, side setting that ball on the wind side.
Exactly. On the wind side, that ball's gonna drift into the net. Exactly what happened there. Switching sides, a little bit of a breather here for Phil and Andy, taking their time here, the veteran timeout, if you will. They'll get a wipe, get a drink, all those things. Here for the big blocking squad. Benesh and Dalhausser.
Probably one of the most unorthodox partnerships that we have seen on the AVP Tour, putting 2 6'9" blockers side by side. One of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, 4-time Olympian Phil Dalhausser. And his young partner, just 27 years old, Andy Benesh, first ever AVP final. He is now at match point alongside the GOAT. Austin, are you ready? Phil Dalhausser with the serve. He goes to Troy Field. Oh, I thought it was going to be Phil with a dig and transition. They would have loved that. 17-20, the freeze no longer in effect in 2022. So we are at side-out scoring, or rally scoring, excuse me, as we are at the end of this match, 20-17 right now. Defense is needed on the side of Budinger and Field. Andy Benesh with a shot at the title. Long. Not yet.
Tensions rising here late in this second set. You can feel it in the crowd. You can feel it at home.
So one has been tallied off for Field and Budinger. Again, Benesh with a second chance. Pace has got the ball. And a second ball for Andy Benesh. Tight. Andy Benesh, congratulations on your first title. What an incredible tournament for the #2 seed, Andy Benesh, his first title, and none other than Phil Dalhausser getting him there.
The split blocking squad of Benesh and Dalhausser proving that anything is possible and that blockers can play defense, giving hope to all those blockers out there who are thinking about going to play some defense. And Phil checking another thing off the bucket list for the GOAT.
What an incredible journey through the weekend. You got to go hats off to Troy Field and Chase Budinger, though. They had an incredible trip here in Austin. Some great play and a lot of confidence built. But it's all smiles for those two guys. Probably one of the great wins in the many for Phil Dalhausser. That is his 60th title on the AVP Tour. Here's a look back at match point. Andy Benesh had the first shot for the side out, but Troy Field was all over it. And Chase, but it happened in transition. 6'9", coach back and out of bounds. Andy Benesh celebrating, and they do the full koala. Looked a little like Sarah Pavan and Melissa Humana-Paredes right there. There's a look at our Kona Brewing, wonderful sponsor here on the AVP Tour. Phil Dalhausser's very ready for one of those cold drinks. And here is the Kona Brewing Company. Cheers to the champ. Again, how about that? The Kona Brewing Company, cheers to the champ. Hats off to Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser.
And it is trophy time for the two big fellas, tournament director Jeff Conover.
And now it's time to look back at one of the best plays of the day. It's actually the Wilson Volleyball play of the day. Absolute hammer from Phil Dalhausser. Self-preservation, very much needed by Chase Bud. And again, there is our first champion in 2022. A huge congratulations to those two. We've got Mark Sherman down on the sand. Let's have a chat with our champs.
Gentlemen, Phil and Andy, and Phil, you just keep saying that's crazy, and it is. Your fourth partner that you've won at AVP with in your illustrious career, and this guy just called you up, and you won again. How you feeling right now?
Man, this is crazy. I mean, that's the only words I have. You know, there's something about playing with no pressure, where we're just out here to have some fun, and I felt like that's how we played all weekend. And any time in crunch time, we pulled it out.
And Andy, you get a chance to play with the legend. I mean, what's going through your mind? I mean, Nick has to pull out late, and you get to play with him. What's it like to be with a guy on the court that you see eye level with?
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, just him being, the player that he is, the person that he is. I've gotten to know Phil over the last couple years, and he's been really welcoming and really he helped a lot of things in my game and off the court too. So never in a million years did I think I was going to play a tournament with him, but man, that was fun, and it's so fun to dance behind him. He's taking up, 80% of the court. I just have to take a little sliver. So, man, yeah, what a crazy first win to deal with Phil.
Absolutely, and I can only imagine what it would take to get Phil to play with me in a volleyball tournament. Like, what's that call like? Like, do you just call him up and you're like, are you busy this weekend by chance?
Well, it's funny. Nick actually just put us in a group text, and, Phil said he was in. I was like, let's do it. A little shake and bake back there, and yeah, that's how it happened.
Now, Phil, going to New Orleans, I don't think the two of you are playing together, right? You were signed up with?
Casey Patterson.
Casey Patterson. That could be your 5th AVP partner to win a tournament with. When do you shift focus and leave this guy behind to go to Casey?
Listen, I hope we don't play Andy, otherwise we might take an L there. So hopefully we're on opposite sides of the draw and we'll meet in the finals.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Andy and Phil, on getting the win here in Austin. What a story.
What a story it has been for those two, Andy Benesh and Phil Dalhausser. Again, I can't go back to the amount of joy those two have been exuding. Taking home the second place, Chase and Troy. It has been an epic day here in Austin, an incredible host city for the AVP opener of 2022.